Caribbean Court of Justice has upheld the constitutional validity of limitation of presidential term. What does this mean? It means that our Constitution is supreme. It means that if the Constitution says that there are only 2 terms for a person wanting to be president, then that is the law. And that is what I believe the Guyanese people have consented to when they participated in the constitutional reform process, of which I was a part from 1996. Now Senior Counsel Ralph Ramkaran has been the chairperson of that Constitutional Reform Commission. And we took evidence from Guyanese who had said that you must limit the terms by anyone to anyone who wished to be president to only 2 terms. The great Cheddi Jagan said he was not interested in anyone going to an election or wanting to return as president for 3 terms, a 3rd term, because he was concerned about the abuse of power. He was concerned about the obsession of anyone who would have served for 2 consecutive terms, 10 years, wanting again to become the president. There must be some motive behind this obsession. And so the Constitution was amended by a bill that now is an act that was taken to our National Assembly. And what was interesting then, in 2001 or so, when this bill was taken to the Parliament, both the majority parties, the People's Progressive Party and the People's National Congress, voted for the change, voted for there to be only 2 terms for anyone to contest as president. And what was strange was that Mr. Jagdeo signed on to that change, signed on to that act of Parliament. And so when, for whatever reason, you could now say, oh, somebody else filed a petition before the court, for me, it smacks of opportunism to allow a kind of sentiment to occupy the public arena that a 3rd term was good for a certain person. I believe that we have to be more decisive in public life. And I have seen the attempts that have been made to start a campaign for a 3rd term for Mr. Jagdeo. And I am now questioning whether or not he had been sincere when he said he was not interested in a 3rd term. It was the people in his own party, the PPP, who didn't support a motion for him to run for a 3rd term. And this legal challenge that was mounted, I believe, had been simulated to satisfy a personal agenda. So what does it mean for Guyana now that the Caribbean Court of Justice has ruled on this contentious issue? It means that our Constitution should be respected. It means that our Constitution is the instrument by which we should be guided. It means that we should respect the efficacy of our judicial system and not ascribe motives of bias and racism in not only our local courts, but in our Caribbean Court of Appeal, the Caribbean Court of Justice, which is our final court of appeal. I believe that this slaughter of our judicial system, of judicial officers, should come to an end. That the ambition of one person should not be used as an instrument to destroy our symbols of justice and fairness, our symbols of judicial review and of resolution of conflicts. And so, in welcoming this decision by the CCJ, I'm not saying that it gives me a sense of elation. I will say it validates the belief of a large section of the Guyanese people that you should not have abuse of office by those who want to feel that they own the seat of government, or those who feel that executive authority belong to an individual. We cannot personalize authority. We cannot personalize governance and power. And so the people of Guyana, they have triumphed today in asserting and reasserting that the presidential term should not be open to abuse by any individual. The Constitution is supreme, and the Caribbean Court of Appeal and the Caribbean Court of Justice has so held. And so I believe that Guyana must now move on. We must put this issue that I consider to have been a trifle behind us and look to the political arena to throw up leaders of credibility, leaders of merit, and those who have a desire to serve the country and not simply to use power for self-interest.